Hello guys, my name is Sage, and today I thought I would do something a little bit different. I'm actually gonna make a Smash Brothers tier list for the final patch of the game. You know, just get my thoughts and stuff. But here, let me make the tiers. And the music, as you can see, is from SMT2, in case you want to listen to it yourself. But yeah, I'm going to be kind of placing characters where I think they should go. Obviously, not everyone is going to agree, but yeah. Actually, no. I'm gonna do a funny. There we go. These are much better tier list names. There we go. Alright, so let me edit the colors a bit. And there we go. Alright, so for this would be top tier. These two are high tier. I'd say this is the upper end of high tier. This is mid tier and this is low tier. So for the start of top tier, we have Joker. Joker got some pretty significant buffs. I mean nerfs. Mainly, well, not significant. They made Arsene a lot easier to deal with. But overall, the character's still very good. He has, Gun is like his best move. It's very good at gimping and just getting extra chip damage while being at a good distance. He has Aha to do residual damage, which is also very nice. And, pretty good combos, and Arsene just adds a lot of shield pressure. So yeah, I would say he's like top 3. Pichu, we don't really need, an explanation, but very good combo game, good projectiles, and his hurtbox, he hurtbox shifts so much. A lot of the stuff that would normally be punishable is basically unpunishable for pretty much any character. So it gets away with a lot of stuff, if that makes any sense. He also just has very easy kill setups. But next up we have, let me find them. There we go. Cringe. But yeah, Aegis and Pyra. I mean, why did I say Aegis? Mithra and Pyra. They are very good. Mithra is like a really rushdown character, very rushdown oriented character, and her frame data is really good, and she chases people very well. And she also gimps people very well with her up B. So she has a lot of pressure with her combos, and then she can switch to Pyra, who has a very good projectile, while also maintaining that pressure and still having and getting like very good kill power. The only real weakness they have is that the recovery is very bad. So if you hit them out of the air and get some of their strings going, they're in a pretty rough spot. But I don't really think that's a huge weakness, and that's why I put them all the way up here. But the next character I'm putting on the list is also pretty unsurprising, Rob. Rob is broken. Like, he has very good frame data for some reason. His recovery is like the best in the game. He can literally just camp in the air. And all he has to do is go on the ground to recharge it. Very good projectiles with gyro. It has a pretty weird hitbox, so it's kind of hard to pick up if you're not like used to it. And it can also get some very nasty kill confirms off of it. And in general, he's also really heavy, so he survives a lot. The only real weakness he has is being like a pretty big target, so that puts him up there. Next up, we have Roy. Now, so far this isn't particularly ordered, but I think these guys are like debatably top 5. So, well, these three are definitely top 3, and this is like top 5 in my opinion. Roy is just a character that is in your face at all times. And he has very, 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 very broken kill confirms. Well, kill power. He doesn't really confirm all the time, but when he does, it hits very hard. And he can get some pretty easy 40% combos off of stuff like Fair. And he can use Dancing Blade to get some pretty nice mix-ups. And overall, his stuff is just very safe, and he has a good out of shield option. So, yeah, he basically earns his title up here. Wolf is up here because he's very good at controlling the pace of the match. He can be very offensive with his pretty big hitboxes on his claws, and stuff like back air that kills insanely early. Or you can play very patient with laser, which goes through most things, if not everything. So you kind of had to play at his pace, which is pretty huge, even after like the down smash nerfs and such. So yeah, I would say he's definitely top tier. Let me think. Okay, Mario. Mario is another character that I think most people should know why they're top tier, but this one is a little more debatable. But Mario is just very safe. He's a very safe, aggressive, and defensive character. Pretty much all of his good aerials, well, all of his aerials are good, but the ones that are really good are very safe. Like back air, it's actually incredibly hard to punish back air because when it's like perfectly spaced, it's -2, which basically means it's unpunishable unless you parry it, which is pretty insane when you think about it. Even then, he's still only like -5, so that's still incredibly safe. But yeah, he also has very good and easy up air strings, and better yet, he can confirm it into forward air to get some pretty nice kills. And up B as well. He also has stuff like up smash, which is probably his main way to kill. And dash tag is probably the easiest to frame option in the game, as well as flood being very powerful. The only thing really stopping him is his mediocre recovery, and he just doesn't have like oppressive range. But overall, he's still very good. Next up, we have Okay, no, you don't go up there. Next up, we have Pac-Man. This is also, from what I've seen, kind of debatable. But I think Pac-Man is definitely top tier. He has some very good combo options. Really good frame data. Can camp very well with the stuff like Hydrant and Fruit. Also trampoline. I feel like not enough people just trampoline out of neutral. Because if they jump on it, they get sent up, and they kind of just have to like respect it. Especially if there's a Hydrant nearby. He has very good out of shield, and his recovery is insanely good because it reaches out so far. And with stuff like Bell and Galaga, he can get some pretty cheeky kills early on. So yeah, I would definitely say this character is very good. He's kind of an unorthodox character, so like, he beats characters like Diddy Kong. He eats them for breakfast because Hydrant takes away banana and stuff, but I feel like he can struggle against characters with better range and don't really have to respect him that much, but even then, he's still a very oppressive character. Next up is Palutena, who is undoubtedly very good. Even after the nerfs, she still has very good strings, you know, very good pressure with the anti-airing with stuff like up air. Side B, kill projectile, very funny. Counter, which I don't actually think is that broken, but it's still good by default because it's like a counter. Down tilt, it lingers for a while. Back air is invincible. Dash attack is invincible for a few frames as well. She just has a lot of stuff going for her even after the nerfs, so I would consider her a top tier for sure. And up here, I'm gonna put Wario. I actually want to put him above. Yeah, I think that's a good place for Wario. Wario camps, like, if you haven't heard, like, the meme, when you're fighting Wario, it's basically 2-3, because if you're fighting a good Wario, they will confirm into walls, and they will kill you. So basically, the only way to keep a real lead versus Wario is to get so incredibly far ahead, like 3 stocks to 1, to where it's like, okay, if you waste WAF on one of my stocks, it's not that bad. But even then, Wario can take a stock, take your 3rd stock, and then get like a pretty good combo string going, and then WAF you and you die. He's also very heavy, which means he survives a lot. And considering Bike is like a really, really good recovery option, it's like you can challenge it for sure, but he's going to be living for a long time regardless. So yeah, Wario is definitely top tier in my opinion. And I want to put Snake up here. I honestly want to put Snake up here. Like, I think Snake kind of died down as the meta's been progressing, but he's kind of been picking back up, and I think in general his tools are still really good. For one, he has hurtbox shifting on some of his moves like back air, which make them painful to punish at times. He also has a very good projectile game, you know, and grenades make it to where Snake doesn't have to worry about trades, because if you're trading with Snake, he's always winning, because Snake does not want you on him, and since grenades are frame 1, he can just pull them and like stop combos, and it's very useful. He's probably the most flawed top tier though, because his disadvantage is pretty terrible, but I don't really think that's a huge problem. Because he's mainly a trap-based character. I wouldn't really say he's like struggling or anything. Next up we have Lucina. I would say this character kind of fell off meta-wise, but even so, she still got very good. I think people just don't play her anymore because these other characters have like more G's involved. Namely these guys. But Lucina is still very powerful. She has very good combo game. She kills pretty consistently, good out of shield, and overall good range that you have to respect. So yeah, I would say she's top tier. Next up is Zero. I actually think she's better than these two. Yeah, Zero is a character that's kind of weird. She has pretty good combos, although they're not always the most consistent. But the main claim to fame ZSS has is range. With her Zaire, she can like zone you. Well, not really zone, but poke you from a safe distance while also applying pressure with some of her other moves. She's also very good at edge guarding because she can use her down B, wall jump, down B, wall jump, and a jump, which is pretty insane. And side B also just kills like at the edge of the screen, which makes it like really good to throw out because she'll probably always make it back. But her main problem, like, even though she has all that camping and stuff going for her and those combos, is the fact that some of her moves just don't work sometimes. It's very apparent, even in top play, which is pretty unfortunate, but even in spite of that, I think she's still top tier. Now, I think anyone else I put in here is like debatable. I can like think of big enough weaknesses to put them in here, but they can definitely go up here. So yeah, let's get into that tier. Wait, actually I forgot what character. Shulk. I say Shulk is top tier because Monado is literally just a cheater move. Like, if you think of Monado, it's like a get out of jail free card. You can Monado out of combos. Monado gives you insane speed, recovery, kill power. It lets you live longer. Just in general, like, Monado is very powerful, and even without that, even without Monado canceling, he still has very respectable hitboxes, because you really can't do anything if Shulk starts naring you in some situations, because the hitbox is just so big. So you kind of just have to like go with the flow when you're playing Shulk. He's not like oppressively broken or anything, but he is definitely a threat when you fight him. So in the next tier, I'm going to start off with Diddy. Diddy has been becoming a meta staple as of lately due to Tweak and Zenodo. I think I kind of was like put on to Diddy, you know, being good, like after the buffs, because he since he's small and he's so good at whiff punishing, he has like very good matchups for his characters like ZSS and Palutena, and even Aegis, which is like huge. But yeah, he's very tricky. He has very good frame data, but he can also just escape out of situations with stuff like Monkey Flip. And Banana is very good for extending combos, you know, getting edge guards, all that stuff. I could definitely see him up here. Like, I could honestly argue he's better than ZSS, for that reason alone. But, you know, you can put him here, and I wouldn't really like care. I think Diddy is like definitely up here. Like he's just that good. But yeah, onto this tier. Oh yeah, I forgot another one. Peach. Peach is another character that's been recently kind of like blowing up due to Mutace, but Peach just has like bad disadvantage, but when you think about it, turnips and her damage output is just so insane, and with good use of float canceling and hopping, it makes her stuff very safe, and she can get some pretty easy bait and punish combos going for her. And she also has pretty good kill power as well, and they recently fixed her side B so it like connects to the ledge more. I don't think that's a huge buff, but you know, it is something to take note of. So yeah, I definitely say that character is up there. So on to the next tier, Fox. You would probably expect Fox in top tier. I wouldn't really blame you for putting Fox in top tier, but the main reason I say Fox is top tier is because isn't top tier, or is debatably top tier but not like always hitting the mark, is because he's not the most consistent character. Like, he kind of struggles to kill if you shield, because he can't really do anything to your shield. And even if he is like killing you consistently, his recovery is very bad. Like, some of these characters don't have the greatest recovery, like Roy or Aegis, but Fox's recovery is telegraphable, and I think that's the biggest problem, because every time he side Bs, it's always going to be like a set distance. You can't like shorten the range, and up B is very easy to punish because it's so slow, so I don't really think it's like a pretty big weakness. And he also dies early, so it's very hard to make comebacks with him because he's probably not going to live very long. in comparison to characters like Pikachu and Diddy, surprisingly, because those characters are very small and they don't get hit by many things, but Fox falls into combos very quickly, and he also dies early, so that's kind of a problem. But yeah, I still think he's very good. He has a very good punish game, and they're the only matchups I really think that like kick his ass are this next character I'm gonna put on. Mr. Game & Watch. Mr. Game & Watch is an interesting character because some people say he's top tier, some people say he's high tier, but he's still a very good character regardless. For one, he's tied for the fastest out of shield option in the game. If you're not counting parrying, which is up B. Only tied with Mario and Samus's up B, and the thing he has over those is Samus's up B doesn't connect nearly as well, and Mario's up B doesn't have as much range. Game & Watch up B can also edge guard, so that's pretty funny, and it can get him some nair combos, so, or like a single nair, but it's still good damage. His neutral B is really stupid because any character at the ledge is going to have a really hard time getting over those projectiles and just overall getting back into neutral. And he also juggles really well with stuff like nair and up air. So he's like he's kind of like a trap-based character, but that wants to keep you out, and he's very good at doing it. So definitely a respectable character in that front. Next up we have Ike. Ike is a character that's not been as nearly as meta relevant, but I still think he's very good because he just has everything going for him. He has very huge and fast buttons via nair and stuff. Stuff like F tilt and back air are very strong, and up air, and you can combo into them. Well, not F tilt, but you know. Eruption is good for scaring people at ledge, but he also has surprisingly not a bad recovery due to side B. If you catch up in a situation where he has to up B, yeah, he's probably dead. But with side B, he doesn't really have to risk that as much, which is why I say it's like not that big of a deal, especially when his neutral is so good. Like, his disadvantage is bad, but his hitboxes are so big and they're pretty quick. So he's probably still going to be pressuring even faster characters, which is something that you can't really say about all characters in this game. Although frame data is pretty fast, to be completely fair. But yeah. On to the next character. Young Link. I think this character has potential to be top tier, if I'm being completely honest. I think the only reason I don't put him up there is because he's just not used that much, but I don't really think it matters. Like, this character is insane. He has very easy kill confirms, very good frame data. His nair is insanely broken. His projectiles are very good. There really isn't a huge weakness. Like, you would think he would kill late or something, but no, he kills surprisingly early off of stuff like arrow, down air, and up air, or down tilt up air. He just has very good options, and yeah, I would say he's kind of an underrated character in that regard. Next up, we have Pokemon Trainer. Pokemon Trainer is also a character that I feel fell off meta-wise, but I also think was a bit overrated at the time because I feel like as Ultimate's meta developed, it got more defensive, and that's kind of where PT struggles, because Squirtle kind of has to like carry in some matchups where Ivysaur and Charizard can't get in, although Charizard is already bad, but you know, sometimes Ivysaur can't really get through stuff that Squirtle kind of has to carry you through, which is fine. I still think the character is very good, but it's just not ideal, if you catch my drift, you know? Because, it's mainly because these characters are slow. Like, even Squirtle, they're not really the fastest character around, so it's kind of easy to wall them out with projectiles, because you don't really have too many answers to that. But that's whatever, you know. You take what you can get, and what they got was pretty good, so yay. Next up is Mega Man, a character I personally play, and I think this character really doesn't have any crippling weaknesses, like, especially if you get into the advanced side of Mega Man. Z dropping is just very safe, shield pressure, down air is like +0 on shield, so it doesn't have any frame advantage, but they can't punish you for doing it. So it's basically free shield pressure with stuff like side B for like shield breaks. Pellets are very good at keeping the opponent away and trying to force them to approach you. Rush is very good for escaping situations. Leaf Shield very good when you can cancel it, and just in general for stopping moves and getting some good damage. And overall he has some really good Metal Blade combos, even if you don't get like super technical with it. And he's also very good at edge guarding. Like, I would say he's one of the best characters in the game at edge guarding, due to stuff like side B, back air, forward air. So yeah, very good zoner, in my opinion. Next up, this is kind of... Now, Inkling. This character might be up here, I'm not even gonna lie, after the buffs. She got like a bunch of buffs this recent patch, I don't know why. But she has a very annoying dash. Her back air is like stupidly safe. It's like, it's basically comparable to Mario back air. They basically have the same back air, except Mario's is like slightly better because it's stronger. But she also has very good buttons, you know. She does a lot of damage. And she's probably one of the few characters in the game where I'm like, okay, she actually has trouble killing. You know, people say, whoa, Mythra has trouble killing, but I don't really think Mythra has problems killing. But this character definitely does. But I don't really think that matters. I think that's like a necessary evil, because this character is very annoying due to that dash. And she just does a lot of damage, and in general, she's hard to catch. And she's also very good at edge guarding. She has one of the best recoveries in the game. So she has stuff going for her, for sure. And on to the next character, Mii Brawler. Mii Brawler is... I think a lot of people know now that Mii Brawler is good, but in general, if you don't know why, he's like a combination of Mario and Fox. He has very good combo game, he's pretty damn strong, very fast and nimble, good out of shield options, very early kill confirms on triplets, and even a pretty good projectile that can combo. And he has some decent utility with the different specials, but overall, I think Brawler's just a very good character. Like, you can't really go wrong with Brawler, and even though he has like issues, I would still say he's very good. And for the next character, let me see if I can find Advent Children Cloud. I don't think I can though. Oh well. I'm just gonna put the two next characters up. Cloud. Cloud is very good. I feel, I think most people know why Cloud is good, but if you don't, very good frame data on stuff like back here. He has pretty good range and juggles pretty well. So, you know, he's pretty safe on shield, very good out of shield, good damage output, good range, like I just said. And limit camping, while not nearly as optimal, is still very good in this game, because sometimes, you know, there are just matches where you want to slow down the match to get some better neutral, and limit does that pretty well, you know. It's also notable that limit cross slash actually like forces an untakeable situation in most case scenarios, which is really damn good. And He has a pretty bad recovery, I will admit that, but I think overall his general strengths outweigh the weaknesses by a lot. And Falcon is another character, like Diddy, they got buffed. They buffed the shit out of this character. And he's just very good. He has very high damage output. He hits pretty hard. His up smash is basically a disjoint. He has stuff like up B too. When you do combos with Falcon, you can end it with an up B, or like bait an air dodge and get an up B. Or just throw out up B as a out of shield option, or to punish something. It's very good. Stuff like near to finish combos or start them. In general, like Falcon just has really good burst options and combo game that you have to respect. The only time Falcon is really struggling is when he's getting outranged or you can outbox him. Like Roy versus Falcon, that's a perfect example. Roy outboxes Falcon while also maintaining a good distance from him with his sword. So yeah, that's a pretty good example of a matchup where Falcon doesn't really excel. Next up is Chic. Chic is another character I feel like isn't that huge in the meta right now, but I think that's fine. I think she's kind of solidified herself. She has pretty easy combos. A lot of people will say that she's like super hard, and while I do agree with she's very hard to play, she's not like super broken or okay. They're not super technical either. It's the main difficulty in playing her is keep being on your P's and Q's when you're doing your combos. She has pretty good defense due to needles and some pretty good kill confirms like needles, bouncing fish, very good frame data, and she just puts you in some pretty awkward situations, I would say, especially with stuff like her raindrop, which will kill you at like 90. So Chic is kind of like a sleeper character, but you definitely want to keep your eye out on this character when you're fighting them, especially if your opponent knows what they're doing. Anyways, next character up here is Ness. Now Ness is a character I say they overall buffed as the series gradually got better. Like, he was pretty trash in the first few games. Smash 4, he got stuff going for him. And here, he just got even more. So, he has very good combos. His aerials are very safe. In fact, if you're playing online, Ness aerials are damn near unreactable, which is insane. He also has very good ledge guarding with stuff like Yo-Yo and up B, and he just has good kill power. Like, his back throw is like one of the best kill throws in the game. Even if you have good DI, that should just outright kill sometimes. So at like 120 for most characters. So yeah, he also has stuff like Pika Fire and Magnet to extend combos. But yeah, overall he's just very good. He's kind of floating in the air, and his recovery is pretty gimpable. Like, if you run into the up B before he like throws it around, you can just kill him. But yeah, I don't really think that's such a huge weakness. You know, when you have all these things going for you, like all these characters here, I think they kind of need weaknesses. Well, they definitely need weaknesses to be like a well-designed game, but you know what I'm trying to say. Next up is Min. Well, I'm actually gonna put 3 characters here. Min, Link, and Olimar. Where's Olimar? Okay, yeah. Olimar is up here because I feel like a lot of people just wrote this character off because he's like not as good as he used to be through the up smash nerf, but he still has very good damage output. You know, he hits pretty hard with the different Pikmin. He gets a kill throw off of blue Pikmin, which is pretty funny. 2 purples is very scary, especially if he throws them off stage, because if you get hit by a purple off stage, you're probably dead. He's small, which makes it somewhat annoying to hit him, and overall, he can just kind of keep you out with the different types of Pikmin and rack up a lot of damage doing so. He kind of gets shut down by characters with bigger hitboxes, namely swords. But, you know, it is what it is. Min, even after the nerfs, I just still think she's pretty good overall. Like, she still has insanely good range. Like, before the nerfs, her range was actually downright unfair, I would argue. Nair is still a pretty fast option, so is up smash. And, you know, overall stuff like Dragon Smash is good. Like, you can't really go wrong with this character. I would explain it more, but, you know, this character isn't too developed, but if you look at players like Proto Banham, Pink Fresh, or Dabuz before he dropped her, you know, you definitely see what I'm talking about. She just has very good range. To keep you out while also still maintaining, like, good frame data. And for Link, we have... This is kind of debatable. You could put him in high tier, but I'd say he's up here because Bomb is, like, one of the best moves in the game. Like, it just makes being at the ledge versus this character so scary because if you mess up, if he doesn't get, like, a combo off of it, he can just blow it up and you're back at square one. It also just has this annoying hitbox that can hit you anyway. So yeah, that's fun. And if you don't fall for the bomb, he can just do stuff like Nair or poke at you with projectiles. And in neutral, Link is not bad because, like I said, he has those projectiles. He does good damage. Let me close this up. He does good damage. They recently buffed his up smash, so it kills earlier, so that's a pretty nice buff. And Bomb never stales, which is pretty huge because it means he can safely recover without killing himself like Snake does with C4. So that is a pretty good mix-up. And overall, his moves have decent range. Well, not decent. They have good range, and you have to respect them in most scenarios. Especially Nair, even though it doesn't really have a lot of range. But yeah, I'll take a break really quickly because I gotta use the restroom. But I'll see you guys in a few. So we're back. Yeah, I left off. I was gonna put Ken up here. Ken is a very good character. He's like an up-close monster. When you let Ken get in, he's going to get a lot of damage and potentially kill you in like about 3 interactions. So generally, you want to play keep away versus Ken, but he has very good Shoryu confirms, which you know, obviously people do make use of. It's like almost vital in this map if you ever fight this character to either zone them or know how to DI Shoryuken, because he is just that scary up close. He's also got like a very good Nair and stuff. So yeah, the usual. He's kind of like how he is in Third Strike, just minus the brokenness. But he still has some stupid stuff to him. And he also plays like he's in a platform fighter, obviously. Next up, we have Bowser. Bowser is, Bowser kind of invented the upbeat out of shield meme. Because, you know, he has a very broken upbeat out of shield. Like, it lasts for so long, and if you get gotten into it, it does a lot of damage. And you're probably not falling out of that upbeat either, which is the funny part. Because a lot of multi-hits, you know, you fall out of. Not the case for this one, generally. And also does some pretty decent knockback at a higher percent, so it's like not even that risky to go for. He also has stuff like Flamethrower at the ledge, which Charizard also has on PT. I didn't really go too in-depth into that. I actually didn't go too in-depth into PT's strengths, but it's mainly like combo game, you know, with Squirtle. You know, the zone game with Ivysaur and big hitboxes on the up air and down air for juggling and edge guarding respectively. And Charizard has some very good kill power and good out of shield stuff like up smash. But back to Bowser. His command grab is frame 6, which is insanely fast. Pretty much almost all of his moves kill. And when you're a character that lives forever and you're like super heavy and get rage consistently, that is very good. His forward air is also like a giant ash. It's almost comparable to Shulk forward air off stage. Like, if he throws it out, you're probably like not getting back to the stage unless you like time your recovery properly, which is pretty damn difficult with some characters. So yeah, he definitely deserves that spot up there. And let me think of a character that can go up here. Sephiroth. Sephiroth is a character with some pretty big weaknesses. However, I would say his strengths make up for them pretty well. He's got pretty oppressive range with stuff like back air and up air. Short, fast fall, up air, to be precise. Neutral air is a very good tool for combos, and just generally throwing it out after a up throw to get some good control on the situation. He has stuff like F tilt, which has huge range, can 2-frame, and just kills. It's very good. Stuff like forward air to poke people, side B. Side B is probably one of the main reasons Sephiroth is like a lot more playable, because it just gets him out of situations because they usually have to like run back and respect it unless they want to get comboed. Octa Slash, you know, with 2 frames, very well. It does a lot of damage and has a very good hitbox, so you can also ledge stall with it. He just has a lot going for him, although he does have weaknesses like his frame data. Like, if you don't master parry footstool down air, a lot of characters are going to be able to like mash on him, and they will also being able to like kill him and poke him very easily because he's light and tall, which is not a good combination. But he also has stuff like Wing, to where it's like damn near impossible to not edge guard with him because he has 3 jumps. So yeah, I would say they outweigh the weaknesses for sure. Next up is Falco. Falco is interesting because I wouldn't really say this has ever been like a super meta defining character in Ultimate, but he has a very good combo game. Like, with the right combo extensions, he can get like 80, and it is insanely good. But the main problem with Falco, even though he has like stuff like lasers and his down B, but the one problem he has is range. Like, due to that, without laser, he can't really contest with characters with bigger range than him, which kind of hurts his neutral a lot, because a lot of his moves are committal. So yeah, that kind of sucks. But in general, I think he's pretty good, you know, even in spite of that. Next up, Rosalina. Yeah, Rosalina. Rosalina is interesting, but the main reason I put her here, Luma. Not only did they buff Luma like multiple times, but Rosalina is pretty good at juggling and has some pretty good hitboxes. Well, not pretty good, but when you consider Luma into the fray, like when you throw Luma into the fray, it gives her very good control of the situation, especially at ledge, since she can just like throw out jab there, and Luma's just doing her bidding. It's very, very cursed. She can also use smash stacks with Luma, so Rosalina with Luma is a very scary character. You have to get rid of Luma if you want like a fun time in that matchup, or you just outright have like range to hit both of them pretty consistently. So yeah, next up we have Greninja. Greninja is a pretty fast, combo-oriented character who kills pretty consistently off of stuff like down tilt and forward air. He doesn't really have too many huge weaknesses, but His hitboxes are like kind of small. They're not really like oppressive, and he doesn't do huge shield damage. So a lot of people can like capitalize off of that because while he is an annoying rushdown character, you know, if you don't have like super oppressive hitboxes, not everyone is gonna get hit by your stuff. Especially since Greninja has to be up close. So yeah. Next up we have Terry Boogers. Terry is a character where he has very good combos. Like, I know I've been saying that for a lot of characters, but this guy, with his inputs, he can do stuff like Nair or Dare in the side B with the input. And it just kills insanely early. He also has stuff like off of his supers, which is also pretty crazy. It's like playing a fighting game. His main weakness is the lack of range, so you can kind of just zone him out. But when he does get in, like Ken, he's like a less destructive Ken, but I would say he's like more standard and easier to play. But yeah, Terry is a force to be reckoned with. Like if you've seen players like Riddles who capitalize off of Terry's advantage, it's crazy. I think that might be everyone I want to put in this tier. Although I might put Samus and Luigi here. Actually, I might put Wii Fit there too. But I think these characters are better than the characters I'm about to put down. So it's whatever. I'm going to put. Yeah, I'm just gonna put a bunch of characters here and kind of like explain what I'm thinking. Oh yeah, and Chrom definitely goes up here. You could put him up here, but I think his recovery is like. You can honestly put him right here. Like his recovery is like worse, but I don't think it's like such a huge problem. But he doesn't steal stunts as easily as Roy, so it's kind of like whatever. Yeah, I could put him like up here, and it'd be basically like the same. I still think they're very close. Like, if you play one or the other, it doesn't really matter that much. Yeah, I'm gonna put Hero down here. So yeah, I might actually put Samus in this tier, because Samus, I think, is a pretty underrated character. Zaire is like really stupid. Her charge shot is like insane in shield pressure. Like it does so much shield damage and just damage in general. It's not even funny. And you know, her hitboxes are pretty respectable as well. Like down B also makes stuff like B reversing and missiles just very consistent and good. She can get some good follows ups off of it. Overall, she has the frame 3 up B. Although be careful because you know you can fall out of it. I think she's a very good trap based character that can still throw out hitboxes if she needs to. And she edge guards pretty damn well, so got that. Going for her. And I want to put Steve up here. I might put him down here, but as of now, I don't know how huge the up smash nerfs are, except like taking out some really broken combos. But he's still a pretty defensive monster. Well, not a monster, but if you can't hit him through blocks, you can kind of just camp and get resources. And then the matchup becomes way harder than it should be. But for characters like Cloud, they literally just fucking troll Steve. Which is why I was tempted to put him down here, because they just hit through blocks. Which is pretty damn huge for a character that like relies on them. Also, I forgot to put to put Sonic up here. If you don't know what Sonic is good, probably the easiest character to camp with in the game because he just runs away. Literally. And he has a pretty good combo game while also being fairly non-committal, which is something most characters would appreciate. He's supposed to be like a rushdown character, which is not how he plays, funnily enough. If he was like a rushdown character, he would probably be like down here, but Optimal Sonic is very good. I would like, arguably put him. Yeah, I would put him like up here. So, I think Luigi's better than Marth. Okay, so next up we have Luigi. I could honestly put him up here, if I'm being completely honest. Insane combo game, but gets absolutely destroyed by zoning, which is... He's a pretty lopsided character, like every time I think about Luigi, I'm like, okay, he's really good, but he's also like really bad in some situations, so it's kind of hard to rank him at times. Elegant has been getting some pretty baller results with him though lately, which is undeniable. But I still think Luigi's like down here. He can definitely go up here. I absolutely know he's top tier, but he can definitely go up here, and I wouldn't really like question you. Yeah, it has pretty good zoning tools, can get you pretty easily, and his outer shield actually kills you. It literally just kills you outright, which is pretty huge. So yeah, that's cool. Meat Swordsman, I think this is a pretty sleeper character, but when you fight Meat Swordsman, you know, they just do strength, and with some of their projectiles, like the disc one, that keeps you in place and just does gradual damage, which also gets you a hit off of it, it is pretty insane. You also got stuff like Tornado into up air, which just kills, because yes. You can also do stuff like up B, the Link up B, but I don't think really that's good. But even if you don't do like the most optimal stuff with the up Bs, I still think you can get some use out of me, Swordsman. The only reason I don't put him higher is because a lot of the other sword characters just have like more range, which is just, you know, why I put them down there. I want to actually put Meta Knight here because Meta Knight gets some nice buffs, and I don't know if they are going to make him like super better, but a lot better. But he has pretty good ladder combos, edge guards very well. The main problem is his sword hitboxes are just very underwhelming. Like, most sword characters have a lot of range, and while Meta Knight does have a lot of range on stuff like jab, which his jab is like surprisingly safe, it's very good. It's just like not overwhelming pressure. But he has some pretty good matchups versus some characters that like Rob. They kind of make him, you know, he's not terrible. But yeah. Hero is another character I think is not really that bad. Like it said, yeah, put him in high tier. Pretty good outer shield with the up B. Pretty decent hitboxes. The main problem is that he has a good amount of lag on his stuff, but with stuff like side B to stuff out approaches, it's pretty good because the hitbox is pretty big. Good projectiles. His buffs are pretty insane. He's overall a pretty wacky character, you know, like he would be like up here if he was more consistent with his buffs and such, but for now I'd put him down here. Mewtwo, pretty strong character. His hurt box hurts him a lot, but like if he had Smash 4 combos back I would put him here like easily. I would put him up here, but he doesn't. But I don't really think he needs it. He has pretty good control with the neutral B, and overall good kill power. Like a lot of people are like buff Mewtwo, and he did get some okay, alright buffs, but I don't really think he needs them, like a bunch of them. Me Gunner. This character does a lot better online than offline, but even offline, her stuff is still very obnoxious to deal with, and with stuff like Lob Grenade. And you can use Fair to get momentum to get out of bad situations, which I think is pretty cool. Ledge trapping, pretty insane. And S-Smash surprisingly covers like a lot of options. Her up smash kills, down smash is good for catching rolls, you know, the usual. She's a very basic zoner, but pretty good in her own right. Now we have Marth. Marth is... A lot of people say Marth is bad. I strongly disagree, but... Marth is down here because, not because, like, a tipper inconsistency or anything, but... Even if he had... Well... I won't say even if he had like better tippers, because let's not cap. But I feel like his tippers are pretty consistent. But just tipper, like a mechanic like having tippers, it just makes stuff like characters like Lucina a lot more appealing because you don't really have to worry about that. Because Ultimate is a game where, you know, sometimes you have to make these really good big comebacks with, you know, 3 stocks. And Marth can do that, but I wouldn't, you know, a lot of people would much rather have a character that lives forever, or a character that has, like, consistent kill power to get them through situations like that. You know, some characters aren't comeback characters, and that's probably one of Marth's biggest weaknesses. Like, if you keep a lead versus Marth, he's probably not gonna, like, bring it back very heavily. Due to his, like, lackluster kill power. I honestly think if Marth got one more buff in that last patch, it would make up throw kill like 10 to 20% earlier than Roy or Lucina, which would be a very significant buff because now he would, like, with Rage, he would kill at like 130 or 140 with up throw, which would be pretty hilarious. I'm not gonna lie. Next up, I have Byleth. People are gonna troll me for putting Byleth here, but I really don't care. I'm not even gonna say it. MK Leo really got me to think Byleth was high tier, but he kind of solidified my opinion. Byleth just has really good hitboxes. Like the neutral air and not the neutral air, the back air and the forward air just keep you out, and if they catch you slipping, that sweet spot, it just does a lot of knockback. The neutral air is very good because it lingers for a long time and people are prone to like not shield the entire thing. And it also combos, so that's good. You got stuff like F-tilt, dash attack to call out jumps and such. Up air also calls up jumps, and you have a kill confirm off of down tilt. You have this up B. His recovery is very good. Like, you can hit him out of it, which is, like, its main weakness, but overall, it's still pretty good. And you can also use the up B to combo, which is pretty cool, if they don't DI the right way, which would get you some really good kills off of stuff like back air. Overall, I think, like, he's slow, but he's definitely not a character you can just run over if your opponent knows what they're doing. Unless you know what you're doing, you know, you mastered how to like deal with Byleth in general, which we saw in some cases like MKLeo versus Tweak, but even then, MKLeo was able to bounce back and do it with Byleth of all characters to Tweak, so it was kind of like revenge at Riptide, I think. No, not Riptide. No, it was Riptide. Now we have Banjo. Banjo is an interesting character because a lot of people would say Banjo is mid tier. I think he's high tier because he just has good frame data. Grenade into stuff like Fair is also pretty good. Eggs are very obnoxious, and Wonder Wing, while not the best, it is a very good move when your opponent is just throwing out stuff, and since it's like, it just goes through stuff, it's very nice to have, especially when you're recovering, of all things. So yeah, that's pretty useful. Back throw is also decently strong, and Banjo also has some pretty good kill power. Like, I wouldn't say he belongs here, but if someone put him out there, I'll be like, okay, I could probably argue against it somewhat, but like he still has some pretty good stuff going for him. Bayonetta. Combos for days, but she can't get it safely, and she dies earlier than she'll probably ever kill in a regular match. But if the Bayo is on their P's and Q's, she can kill decently early, especially off stuff like Witch Time. And she has some good matchups for heavier characters, because again, they stay in the combos longer, so that's also a pretty good benefit. She's not terrible, but I wouldn't say she's like super broken or anything. She's a good character that takes some skill to like use well. And she's not a comeback character, so that's also like one of the main factors. You don't really want to trade with her, which is not something I can say for most of the characters up here. Like if you traded, if you traded with Roy doesn't care, because Roy just, unless it's like Snake, because Roy's just doing tons of damage and knockback. Bayonetta is not one of those characters. You don't want to trade with Bayo. Robin. I feel like another character people sleep on, you know? Some of her projectiles are just like insanely positive, like Elfire, namely Elfire, and stuff like Doron. Well, not Doron, El Thunder, I think. But she also has very easy confirms off of stuff like Elfire, up air, you know, up smash, basically any aerial that's not like down air. She also just has very good projectile control. While her stuff is limited, I don't think it's a huge weakness, and her 11 sword is like very strong. I think she's like a flawed character, but she still has some pretty good strengths. And her back throw, it does decent knockback, and she can do stuff like down throw fair. So yeah, she's a pretty respectable character, in my opinion. Toon Link. I'm actually gonna put him here. Toon Link just has very good fan data. Like, he's basically a worse version of Young Link, and even if he's a tier below him, in my opinion, I still think he's very good, because he can kind of just throw out these very non-committal moves. He kills very early off of stuff like fair and up air when you chase people down with him. He's also the fastest out of the Links. Well, maybe not the fastest, but he's very fast, from memory. And he has some pretty easy bread and butters. So, in general, I would just say he's a very solid character. We also have, Corrin. Corrin is another character, like Robin, in my opinion. She has pretty good hitboxes, like, pretty big. Kills pretty early off of up air. The side B is a very good mix-up, and it also kills very early. Especially if your opponent doesn't know how to DI it. And in general, she just has very good positioning with her moves. I think the main reason she's not like super passive is her stuff isn't like Omega safe on shield, and she doesn't have like the most insane kill power. But I don't really think she needs it. I think she's pretty good where she is. And here's where I put Pikachu. Pichu. Now, if someone put Pichu up here, I wouldn't be like super surprised, but Pikachu's self-harm, I keep calling it Pikachu. Pichu's self-harm is very bad. It makes it to a character, like, if she's starting to get into, like, if you're even with Pichu, you can kind of just camp versus them, and they're kind of just already at a disadvantage naturally. people say you can camp with Pichu. I don't really think you can camp with Pichu because you're probably going to be in the disadvantage. So you're just kind of like making it easier for the opponent to kill you because you die insanely early. So you kind of have to be aggressive with Pichu, and you know, while they're very small, I would rather be Pikachu because Pikachu dies less easily, safer. Well, I don't know about safer, but overall better combos. Not as good kill power, but overall just weaves in and out of every situation imaginable, and can camp way better because he doesn't have self-harm. Like, seriously, if Pichu did not hurt themselves, they would probably be up here, in my opinion. But yeah, the nerfs also kind of hit them pretty hard. I don't really think it was, like, justified. And here we have Wii Fit. If you put Wii Fit up here, I honestly wouldn't blame you. This character is crazy with deep breathing. Like, it does so much damage, and it also reduces the damage she takes, which is pretty broken, if I'm being completely honest. I don't know why I'm saying that a lot, but generally she can zone pretty well, and she also has some of the best stalling at the ledge because a lot of characters don't really want to challenge her out there when she can do soccer ball and the neutral B. So it's very easy for her to get deep breathing. But her main weakness is the fact that she doesn't have like any super broken hitboxes she can throw out that are like really big range-wise, which is why characters with bigger range like Cloud generally do well versus her because they just outrange her completely. So that's a pretty big weakness in and of itself, but I think it's manageable. Now I'm tempted to put Lucas here. I actually don't really have an opinion on Lucas as a character. I haven't seen enough Lucas. Oh yeah, I'll also put Ryu up here. Due to the buffs, I think, well, before I get to Lucas, due to the buffs, I think Ryu having like a very, like, he got like -5 frames on his down B inputs, which is insane. He also got better shield breaking. I seriously think they wanted to fucking crack up Ryu like he wasn't Smash 4. But yeah, those buffs are crazy. So yeah, I generally think he's down here. He has a very good down tilt, very good, decent projectiles, an overall good combo game. But yeah, like I was saying with Lucas, I don't really have an opinion on him, so I'm gonna put him up here, but he has some pretty good tools, like down smash for ledge guarding, the Zair to just poke and combo, the P reverse PK freeze, and the PK fire to like poke you. But I think this character just feels off in this game. Like it feels like he's missing something, which is why I don't really have an opinion on him. Obviously, a Lucas player will probably know a lot more than me on that one, so I'll just let, if anyone ever watches this video and they like main Lucas, you can tell me what this character does more, and more in depth than I ever could. Pit, I put him in high tier. A lot of people see he's like mid tier. I disagree. I think this character has, I think he has very good combo game. Like, they're simple, and they don't do tons of damage, but I think they're still good anyway because they give him like positional. They give him an advantage. He also has very good edge guarding and decent kill power. Like he can get some pretty good kill setups offline. He's definitely not a Wi-Fi character by any means, but I would say he's like, I would say for what a character he is, for what he offers as a character, he's good. He also edge guards very well, so that's nice with the stuff like arrow and then air. Trying to think of another character. I will put Kazuya up here. I don't really have an opinion on Kazuya either, but I feel like the way he is, he either hard loses a matchup or he gets in and he just does tons of damage. Like I said, there's not enough Kazuya representation, but the Kazuya representation that we have gotten has showed us that this character can kind of just explode at random moments and make games a lot harder than they would normally seem. But I think generally camping versus Kazuya is pretty easy to do. I could put him down here, but I think he's... I think for what he has to offer, he's like not bad. Let's see here. I'll probably start mid tier now, because I don't really see any other characters I want to put on here. Also, Baller SMT more music. So yeah, now we're in like debatably like not good characters. Well, not even debatably. Like these characters are like generally not that good. They can do well in certain areas, but they're not like super good. Honestly, you could put Lucario up here. I don't really know too much about Lucario, but his buff seemed kind of decent from what he got in the... I think it was the last patch before this. For Sora, but I'm still iffy about Lucario. I can definitely see him in mid tier, honestly, still. But feel free to debate me on this one. I don't really know where to put him. But yeah, let me collect my thoughts on these characters. Okay, yeah, I think that's, oh wait, yeah, I forgot Sora. Okay, Sora is actually a character, like, I'm pretty mixed on, like, he has some he's definitely too slow, like, to be, like, an oppressive monster, but stuff like his forward air on shield is just, like, really stupid. And he has some good kill power off of, like, fair 1 S-Smash. I would say he's pretty solid, like, I wouldn't say he's, like, terrible or anything. He has stuff going for him, but I just don't think he's, like, super broken or anything. So yeah, I'll put him in high tier. I think that's a pretty good spot for Sora. Although Zachary did win a major with him, although I think that's kind of just Zachary is just that good. And people didn't have, like, too much time to develop strategies for that character. Anyways, this is mid tier. I didn't really order it. I think so first up we have Dr. Mario. This character is bad because he doesn't have any speed. Like if Dr. Mario was like Mario speed, he would be high tier. Even with a bad recovery. He just kills so insanely early. Pill is a very good projectile. But the main thing is he is so slow that even if his recovery was still mediocre and he was fast, it wouldn't matter. But since he's so slow, it's so easy to just like get him off stage into a bad position and just give him insanely early. It is depressing. But he actually has, like I said, he has very good combos, and he also has good out-of-shield options, so he's kind of just cucked by his design. Donkey Kong, haha, funny grappler, he sucks. He gets comboed by, like, everyone very hard. Like, even if the DK is destroying you, you'll probably find openings versus this character because it's that bad. his disadvantage because he's just a big body, and you kind of have to respect it. But he has some pretty good moves. Like he surprisingly has very good frame data. Like comparatively to Pikachu, he pretty much has better frame data than Pikachu, which is pretty funny because Pikachu is all the way up here while DK is all the way down here. But that's just how Pikachu works. Next we have Rool. I actually think Rool's better than DK by far. He has projectiles. He's a pretty decent zoner. The main reason he's bad is because he's just like, well, I wouldn't even say bad. He's too bad in disadvantage. If you catch my drift, like he can't really do anything if you start throwing stuff at him, especially if you catch his crown. That can be very annoying. But yeah, stuff like armor and moves like Nair and Fear, I think that's generally pretty good. And his kill confirms off of down throw, that was also really cool. Well, not cool, it's just really good. Zelda, she's just too slow. Like, she is too slow for her own good, but she has some decent moves. Down B especially for getting some pretty good pressure going, neutral B for a fast option. You know, generally stuff like that. Her recovery is also pretty good, but she is just too fucking slow, like to be like really good. And she also dies super early, so that's also a huge weakness. King Diddy, King Diddy, however you want to call it. The main reason this character is down here is because holy shit, his main neutral option, Gordo, gets reflected very easily, and that is a huge problem because Gordo is quite literally his neutral, so that is a problem in and of itself. And he's also very he is probably one of the few characters where I'm like, okay, I don't really care if I'm getting comboed all that much, but it is still an issue to get out of disadvantage because, you know, they kind of just combo the shit out of him, and he's such a big target. But he still has stuff going for him. Like, his ledge trapping is pretty good. His edge guarding is also very good, surprisingly. He can probably edge guard basically any character on this list fairly well, which is pretty nice, I would say. He's not horrible, but he has some pretty big problems. Villager is another character I just don't really know much about, but he doesn't have any super oppressive hurt boxes. He doesn't have any like super oppressive hurt boxes or anything, so I wouldn't really rate him that highly. But let me put some music on and I'll be right back. Okay, so we're back. I put on some more music, and next up is Bronn Plant. They actually bugged the shit out of this character this patch. I still don't think too highly of him. He's very slow. He has a hurt box on his down B, which is pretty bad. And you can generally chase this character down pretty easily with some characters, but Patui is a good niche. I will agree with that one. But I feel like a lot of his moves are just not safe and they don't have too much oomph to them. Up smash is very good though, and his recovery is very easy to cheese. So yeah, he has something, but it's not like super broken or anything or that good, you know, to call him like a good character or anything. Let me change this. Alright, I changed the colors up a bit. Duck Hunt is kind of the same. Like, a lot of these characters, they have, like, niches, but they're not, like, super huge. Duck Hunt also has the benefit, the weird property, his recovery is ass. Like, it is so easy to go out there and challenge it, because he can't really do anything. And his projectiles aren't too threatening. Like, they can work out for you, but they're not, like, super oppressive, like most projectiles are in this game. Although Can is very good. I will definitely agree with that one. Can is very good because you can like position it to combo into stuff. It's very nice to have. Incineroar, he honestly has the same issues as Ganondorf. Very good moveset, but he's just painfully fucking slow. But unlike Ganondorf, he has a down B that you can stack that gives him insane damage output, and a pretty good command grab and kill throws. And even better, like, he has very good combos off of stuff like the up air strings. So yeah, I would say he has that going for him. Still not very good. Kirby is a pretty boneless character. Like, he's probably that character you pick up because he's very basic, and then you move on to other characters. He has okay combos. Like, they're not super oppressive, but they're good enough. And he has some pretty good aerials and such. But the main problem is that he is just slow. Like, a lot of the characters down here are just slow, and that's pretty huge when a character that doesn't really have a lot of range gets outranged overall, and is also slow and dies early. That's not a very good combination. But he can edge guard. He can edge guard pretty well. Like down B at the ledge. If you go through ledge with down B, you're probably just dead sometimes if you can't tech. It's literally a skill check. Jigglypuff, pretty much the same thing. Although, he has, I would say Jigglypuff has a better combo game. But one thing Jigglypuff just loses to out of shield. Like, if you have an out of shield option versus Jigglypuff, you're doing a lot better than you would if you didn't. And that's pretty huge, also. Whoops. Yeah, Bowser Jr. Yeah, I'm done with Jigglypuff. Bowser Jr. probably the most, like, interesting low tier, because, or low, mid tier, whatever the fuck you want to call him. He got buffed pretty recently, so his stuff is stronger overall, which I think is cool. He is very, I was about to say he's very good. He's not very good. He has a pretty good recovery. Like, a lot of people shit on him for the air dodge, which I do think is, like, horrible mechanic. Please, Nintendo, why did you not fix that? But, yeah, with the side B and the extra jump he gets from it, it's actually pretty easy to make it back to the stage attempt, assuming he doesn't get hit out of it. Which is honestly not that hard. Like, he can go pretty low. But he has some pretty good combos, especially to get, like, parry footstool down. He can do, like, a B into the neutral air and get some pretty cheesy kills. And overall, side B just does a lot of knockback. Jab is very good. It's fast. It lingers. It kills. But he's kind of heavy, and he can, like, zoom around the stage and stuff, but he doesn't, like, have oppressive range, and he's pretty laggy, and his projectile is not that great, so he kind of just loses a lot of scenarios. And if you can edge guard Bowser Jr., like, if you take it to jump and his side B from him, he's kind of just dead. Ice Climbers, probably one of the most overhyped characters on Twitter. Back when people were trying to, like, innovate this character. The main reason they're just not good, a lot of their combos, you know, having these silly combos is fine and all, but it becomes a problem when they're not consistent. And these are not consistent, and they take way too much time to set up. Not to mention, this character is shit without Nana. Because, like, with Nana, they basically don't get grabbed, which is nice, but they lose their recovery without Nana. Without Nana, however the fuck you want to call them. And they also lose most of their combo potential and damage. And they don't really have, like, kill confirms or anything. Like, super good kill confirms, you know, setups. Usually for most of these characters, I can like name one at least, but Ice Climber's is just kind of there, you know. You kind of just have to wing it, which is not that great. I would actually put Simon above these characters, so I'm being really honest. Simon is a pretty good mid tier, honestly. He has very good range and setups with the holy water and the axe and the cross. The main reason he's bad is not only is he slow, but it's so easy to knock him out of like recovery range, which is huge when like most setup characters in this game, they don't really have to worry about recovery that much. But Simon literally has to fight for his life to stay on the stage, because if someone gets in on you and you're like off the stage and you're trying to fare your way to tether and they hit you out of it, you're dead. It's just so easy to kill this character off of some strings with some characters, with certain characters. It's just not fun. Although I would definitely say it's like viable. Like there's nothing stopping you from doing well with Simon in tournament, unlike most of these characters, I would argue. Although I would say you can still do well with most of them, but he's probably like the one with the most solid neutral. Next up we have Ridley. Ridley also has some pretty good moves. Stuff like forward air and neutral air especially. F-tilt. The problem is, some genius at Nintendo HQ was like, what if we make Ridley heavy, but he's also dying early? And yeah, that's essentially Ridley in a nutshell. Like, if he was heavy, he would probably be better. Not too much better, but better nonetheless. I would say that about Mewtwo as well. And you would probably be like, whoa, they're still combo food. Well, they're already combo food. Why should they be light for being combo food? That makes no sense. Especially when they should be heavy. Like, there's literally no reason these two characters should not be heavy. But yeah, in general, Ridley just kind of doesn't do well in matchups because the fireball is good for gimmicks and stuff, but when you're playing neutral versus Ridley, you usually outrange him or just combo the shit out of him. It's very hard to get in. Isabel, don't really know much about this character, but she does not have good range. Like, she can have good control over with her setups, like the down B and the side B, but she has like abysmal buttons. She is not getting you off of her in most case scenarios, especially if you have like a disjoint. So yeah, that's the main reason I put Isabel there. And here are the final two characters in the game. Little Mac. He's not the worst character in the game. I will die on this hill. Little Mac has very good buttons on the ground, but the main reason he fails, obviously the horrendous recovery, but he just straight up loses the platform camping, and he gets juggled for free. He has like nothing to get people off of him when he's in the air, and when you start platform camping him, he literally has to chase you, or he just has to go to time. He literally has to wait for you to play the game, which is a huge problem in Ultimate because a lot of characters don't really have to commit 2 minutes. They can just jump on a platform and just wait for you to do something. And obviously you get gimped very easily, but he's still not worse than Ganon. Like I said, he has very good on the ground options. He's still horrible, but he's not as bad as Ganondorf. This character sucks, okay? Take everything I just said about Little Mac, but you also can't approach, and you're also combo food. And even if you die later, instead of dying early like Little Mac, it doesn't matter, because you get gimped just as easily, and you can't approach as well, because at least Little Mac has super armor on the smash attacks and such, and a counter to get through in neutral. Ganondorf doesn't have that. Like, his best approach options are all very telegraphable, and he just gets comboed for days, and his recovery is abysmal. So Ganon really doesn't have much going for him. Like, he has good range on the smash attack, sure, but who cares? A lot of characters have good range, and it doesn't matter. Like, if this character was fast, it wouldn't be a problem. But he's not. He's slow and he's heavy and it's just horrible. But yeah, that is everyone that I wanted to rank, because all these guys are, you know, echoes. But yeah, that is my Smash tier list. This was a pretty long one, but if you guys enjoyed, like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys next time. And let me say this one. There we go. So, like I said, like, comment, and subscribe if you guys enjoyed. And if you want to see more content like this, you know, comment, obviously. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace.